So, good evening. It's another beautiful Wednesday evening. Tomorrow is going to be the Thanksgiving celebration in the United States. It is the beginning of the holiday season in the United States. And so the theme for the week is gratitude, right? I talked to you guys briefly about the magic of gratitude, and I want to expand on how important that is. I just had a message through Messenger of another of our 40 plus wonderful women, and and after trying for a very very long time and doing everything and anything under the sun, from IVF to oral medication to keto diet to immune 2, 3, and 4. She decided that she has been going at it for about 5 years and that she needed a break, that she was just tired. And at 41, she decided to just take a break over the holidays, so just take like November, October, November, December off and retake the baby project in January. And she just texted me and said that she has a positive pregnancy test the month she just did nothing, the month that she let go, the month that she was just enjoying her every day. And so the subject of tonight is the magic is in the air. Um, I've been doing this for a very long time. I have been an OBGYN for about 18 years. And and I see the magic happening when people let go and have that space of peace and joy and gratitude. At the office, we all see it. We see you guys go through, coming in super pumped, thinking that IVF is going to solve every and any problem, and you go at it with everything you have, and it doesn't work. And then you go at it again, and it doesn't work. And then you get angry, and then eventually there's this moment of surrendering. And it is when there's that moment of surrendering and feeling just happy and grateful for whatever happens, that is when the magic kicks in. That's where the magic in the air comes in and gives you what you have been praying for and desiring for such a long time. So today, wherever she is, she's one of our New York patients, but she reaches out to me through Messenger. May your belly be extremely blessed, and enjoy that positive beta. I know after seeing hundreds of negative pregnancy tests, that positive pregnancy test looks surreal, and every victory should be celebrated, and we should be grateful for every little thing, because tomorrow is not promised. I also got the sad news on Monday of one of our beautiful 40 plus ladies. Her story was pretty remarkable. She went through 5 IVFs. She had no fertility issues. She had two easy pregnancies. Her older children are 13 and 15, but they're boys, and she wanted to have a girl. And she thought, I have no fertility problems. I don't have any problems. It's going to be easy breezy. Well, it's almost like asking for it. So she had a long, long journey. She ended up figuring out she had endometriosis. She ended up figuring out she had chronic endometritis that we had to handle. She ended up realizing that she had low ovarian reserve. A lot of times we don't know exactly how our bodies are going to go through the menopausal stages, and we think that because we had a spontaneous baby at, I don't know, 35, that at 41 it shouldn't be that hard, and it sometimes doesn't work out that way. But she was very perseverant. She went through all the phases that I'm describing of, being super pumped and sure that this was going to be the solution, to then getting really frustrated and angry, to then kind of relaxing about it. And then eventually, she did buy donor eggs because her journey became a 4 years, give or take. So by the time we started in at 41, she already was dealing with lower ovarian reserve. It was still close to one, but not quite there. And then it just progressively got worse. And we figure out, like I was mentioning, that she had endometriosis, and probably and she had silent endometriosis. She didn't have severe symptoms, but through laparoscopy, we did find it. And she ended up buying donor eggs, and her baby girl is a year old. Beautiful, beautiful baby girl. We followed her pregnancy, which was uneventful. And on Monday, her husband died of a massive heart attack at the age of 48. So we should be grateful for every breath and every moment, because it's not a given. It's not promised. Tomorrow is not promised. That's why today's the present. And so we can't plan life. We think we can, and we try, but in reality, we can't plan life. And this goes for the fertility journey as well. You can't plan it. You can't even plan how your pregnancy is going to go. I see patients coming in and they have a plan. Well, I'm not going to do IVF because I want to get pregnant in October, so the baby's born in. That's not how it works. Um, the only thing that we actually can control is our emotions and our reactions to the outside stimuli. That's it. So you can either see your glass half empty or see the glass half full. You can see that, you had that positive pregnancy test and then it was a biochemical. You can see that as a blessing because you did get pregnant, or you could see it like, oh my God, why is this happening to me? And I know that the emotional roller coaster is hard to deal with. I'm a girl myself, and I've had my adventures into womanhood and humanity, just being human. But I do try to step away. Let's say, something really bad happened, then I try to step away from the space that's irritating me, take a deep breath, and then find gratitude in my heart, because there's always something that's going on that you should feel grateful for. I mean, even if we don't take into consideration the fact that we're walking, breathing, that we have working organs and eyes, and that we have, a place to sleep and the food on our tables, that some people in other parts of the world see those things as luxuries, but that we have the ability to seek our dreams. And if it is a baby past 40, you have the ability to seek our dreams. And even being part of the CNY family, it's a blessing in itself, because Dr. Kills has done an amazing job creating the most affordable fertility clinic in the United States. And not only that, but also allowing financing and helping patients every day, day in, day out. And that is a blessing in itself, that you are able to seek your dream while other people in different places don't have that opportunity. That is something to be grateful for. All right. Um, so I love sharing. I'm also going to encourage you guys to reach out to me. I'm going to start. I love sharing the stories with you. A few patients have approached me to share it directly with you. So if you want to share your story, live, right? Kind of as an interview, to share it with people that are going through a similar scenario, please reach out to me through Messenger. I'm going to start doing those interviews throughout as they start coming. So at least once a month, depending on how things evolve. because sharing is caring, okay? And giving is receiving. So let's take this moment to share our love with others. There is always a common ground with your neighbor, and feel that gratitude and that joy of simply being alive. I had another beautiful lady come in from Miami last week, and she was very frustrated and a little pessimistic of her outcome. And the only thing I could say is, as long as there is life, there is hope. In her case, she is battling with low ovarian reserve, and she's 40 and battling with a few issues. One of her tubes is blocked. Her ovarian reserve is very low, is 0.3. And I just looked at her and I said, what is the worst thing that could happen? What is the worst thing that you end up becoming a mother through donor eggs? That's a blessing. I mean, if you think about it, you have the choice of buying eggs and becoming a mom that way. So that's not as bad. The glass is half full, people. Always half full. All right. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, two failed transfers, what can I do for the thickness lining? I'm 36. So if it's a lining issue, there's a few things that can be done. We have to make sure, are we dealing with endometritis? Are we dealing with endometriosis? It could be an easy thing, just do an Emma Alice and Receptiva, which is they have a new name for it, endo trio or something like that. And what that says is, one, are you at risk of endometriosis? It checks for inflammatory markers inside the uterus. It's going to check for the wrong bugs in the uterus and whether you have the right probiotics. Okay, so it's a fairly easy test. It's just an endometrial biopsy. The other thing is you might want to cycle a few times prior to trying to do another transfer, and then do uterine priming. You can accomplish this through acupuncture, heating pads like castor oil pads, certain supplements. I use certain supplements for the uterus, directly for the uterus. PRP is fantastic. I talk about uterine priming all the time. So those are things. And just like we prep for IVF, 1 to 3 months of different forms of priming, you can actually prep your uterus. So, if you've had to fail transfers and you're having thickness issues, then it would be a good thing to stop and rethink the protocol, what's happening in that uterus, and then how to help it heal so it can respond to medication a lot better. Okay. I know you're very frustrated. I understand. But again, as long as there is life, there is hope, and you're very young. So I am sure that you will be successful. In this world, perseverance goes a long way. All right. We are in a universe that grows from challenge. Okay. If you think about how you build a muscle, you challenge the muscle, you almost hurt the muscle a little bit and back off to make that muscle grow and become stronger. So think of your female parts as your female muscles. So you want to take them to the fertility gym. All right. Even those two transfers that have failed are preparing your body for success. Those biochemicals, those miscarriages are preparing your body for success. There was an old article. I mean, I was a resident when I came across it, and it said that the 6 months after having a pregnancy, it didn't matter how it ended, a pregnancy, miscarriage, stillbirth, abortion, ectopic, biochemical, which is an early miscarriage. The 6 months after that, the body was hyperfertile. The pregnancy rate went up, and the successful pregnancy rate went up. And I think, and the authors were implying that it has to do with that priming, that taking your female organs to the fertility gym and getting them all warmed up and ready, and go through a practice run. So every IVF is a practice run. It gets you closer to your dream. All right. So it's not wasted money. It's not wasted time. Please absorb that, and, believe it inside your heart, because that is the truth. All right. So, like I was saying, for those of you that want to share your story, please reach out to me through Messenger. Let me know that you're ready to do that, and whether you want me to say your story or read it. If you don't feel comfortable going live and uh, sharing it through an interview with me. But if you do feel blunt and adventurous, then we're going to go ahead and get you live so people can hear it from your mouth. Um, Even though a lot of times we just hear the sad story, or the story that didn't turn out the way we want, or we are handling our own story with all the challenges that's in. Um, I believe that it is in those testimonials that we find hope, and that we find guidance. Because my dad used to tell me, look at the people that got there. Look at the people that got where you want to get to, and follow their lead. See what they did, so we can all learn and grow together. Okay. Is it normal to only see a gestational sac in 5 weeks and 6 days? Yes. My ACG levels, they have been rising. Yes, yes. So I personally like to, take it easy in terms of determining whether a pregnancy is successful, it's a healthy pregnancy or not. I know we go crazy with the betas. Um, the pregnancy will declare itself. It will let us know, so don't take any decisions. I had a patient once do a frozen embryo transfer, and somebody told her, oh, I think this is an abnormal pregnancy, and she stopped her progesterone, and ended up being a normal pregnancy, and ended up miscarrying because she stopped her meds because she got so sad and frustrated, and she heard that person tell her, oh, I think this is a normal pregnancy. The pregnancy will declare itself. And the other issue is, with all this fertility medicine that we're giving you, the ACG levels might rise in a bit of a weird way. Meaning, one, if you transfer 2 embryos, it might rise really fast, and then the ultrasound might not show as much. Or it could rise really fast, then plateau if you lost one of the embryos, and then kind of drop and rise again. So the ACG levels are a guide, okay, to see what's happening in your body, but it's not like a exact science. Same thing with the ultrasound. So just give it some time. It can be normal to have just a gestational sac, as long as the sac looks good, because there are some findings in ultrasound that could indicate that it's not a normal pregnancy, but just give it time. Even if it does not turn out to be a successful, healthy pregnancy, it will declare itself, and you might either continue to have a normal pregnancy, or if it's not normal, it will start a process of elimination and a spontaneous abortion. Okay. Failed transfer early June, being off birth control since. Okay. Last 2 periods were only 18 days apart. Stage 2 of endo. Okay, we're gonna be back on birth control today with my body going to. Well, yes, it's a little complicated once you're handling stage 4 endo. You want to create some level of suppression. However, you want to be careful with over suppressing, because yes, your body could start getting a little crazy and those ovaries might get a little confused. So, especially with endometriosis, you probably are having low ovarian reserve. So being on prolonged birth control might not be your best bet. If you're going to be on prolonged suppression, I'd rather you're on Provera, which is just progesterone only. I have a patient right now, because every time she came in, she had an endometriosis cyst in her ovary. So we put her on Provera to kind of cool things off without over suppressing her. And her baseline today was absolutely gorgeous. So that might be a solution. If you want me to look at your particular case to see, what's going on overall and give you my 2 cents, just message me through Messenger. I go for Friday for an ultrasound. What do I expect to see on the ultrasound? It depends on what you're seeking. If it's to check for overall health, then they're going to look at your ovaries, they're going to look at your pelvis, at your uterus. If you're looking for pregnancy like the other lady, then you're looking to see where the pregnancy is and how far along it is and the health of the pregnancy based on ultrasonographic markers. Okay, if you're looking to see baseline, you're looking at the ovarian activity. And if you're following up your stimulation, same thing. You're looking at ovarian activity and the size of the follicles. How much weight gain is average for fertility medications? Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. That is a toughie. A lot of women end up gaining a lot of weight with all this fertility stuff. There's no real average. What I've seen is that the people that are mostly affected could end up getting between 20 and 30 pounds. That's like on the heavier side. There'll be a small group of women that get nothing, and then there'll be, 10, 15 pounds would be kind of the average. You can try to fight that off by going keto and really cleaning up the diet. And then just, again, kind of letting it go, baby project versus, the weight issue. So it's a tough one. When do you recommend doing ACG wash versus ACG boosters? A lot of times those things are combined. I like the ACG wash because it kind of primes locally the lining, but the boosters get done every day after transfer. I believe it's 250 units daily. And there is data, actually there's data on the boosters and not so much on the wash, helping keep people pregnant. So you can actually split your ACG, like the vial, and then do both. It's, doing both is not going to hurt, and it might improve your chances of keeping you pregnant. When can we stop worrying about miscarriages or miscarriages? 39, 8 weeks pregnant. Okay. It depends. Age and miscarriages, they're different issues. So people that have recurrent miscarriages, it's not an age-related issue. There's something else that's causing this. So we would have to look at your particular scenario to see, kind of what's going on, and are you having coagulation disorders, nutritional disorders, anatomical issues. So, and then hopefully, if you're 8 weeks pregnant, you won't have any issues, because there's different reasons to miscarry, and then the different reasons might affect different stages in pregnancy. So for example, if you have a antiphospholipid syndrome type of scenario, these are most likely to miscarry second trimester. Okay. All right. So, as a rule of thumb, we don't generally see anything on ultrasound with an ACG of less than 1500 and really more like 2000. So if your ACG is 500, you won't see anything but a thick lining. Okay. Um, Yes, a lot of the weight gain with fertility meds is weight retention, water retention, I'm sorry. So, that's where I'm saying it's a toughie. You have to kind of relax about it. I do have a patient that has gained a lot of weight. With all this stuff. Most women are not going to end up in the 30-pound range or anything like that, but a lot of women, depending on how sensitive they are to meds, could end up with a lot of weight. Just love yourself and be patient. Clean your diet and just navigate this river of fertility the best way you can. Okay. Okay. All right, so last question of the evening. If I don't get to your question tonight, just feel free to reach out through Messenger. I do try to answer within 24 hours. If it's something quick, I will answer, within that time frame. Your question, if it's something a little deeper that you want me to look at your chart or uh, really give you a good advice about your case, then I will get one of the girls in the office to put you on the schedule. So, bleeding after transfer. Um, so, there can be bleeding after transfer, and that does not mean that you're miscarrying, and that does not mean that it failed. Um, the actual transfer, even though we try our very, very best not to traumatize the cervix or the uterus, for those of you that are veterans, you know that the catheter is very small, but you're still forcing a catheter into the uterus. So there could be a little scraping in the cervix or even in the uterus. If the transfer itself was a little harder and we had to use a little stiffer catheter, it might irritate again the lining or the cervix and cause some bleeding. So just continue your progesterone. You're going to be okay. And then just 10 days from transfer, let's do the pregnancy test and see what happens. I've had patients even through the wait time, had spotting. In general, if you're not having a lot of bleeding where you're passing clots like a heavy period, you should be okay. A lot of pregnancies survive bleeding. Even if there is a subchorionic hemorrhage that we're dealing with, then what does that mean? That the pregnancy there's a little clot behind the pregnancy. A lot of pregnancies survive those hemorrhages and gets reabsorbed and become absolutely beautiful babies later on. Okay. All right, guys, time's up. Happy Thanksgiving. I will talk to the Spanish crowd tomorrow morning. For those of you that are having a tough time during the holidays, um, you know, use your grief as healing. And I can promise you that if you like, for example, if Thanksgiving or Christmas it's a time where you get blue because of whatever, it doesn't matter whether it's what you're going through, health concerns, your baggage and your history. Use that to empower others. Again, sharing is caring and giving is receiving. Go volunteer in a food market for the homeless, or try something like that, and you will be surprised that the joy of giving might give you. So again, magic is in the air. You just have to stand still so you can receive your piece of heaven. All right. So good night, and I will see you guys next week. Bye bye.